The Master Phil in Your Corner podcast is brought to you by philross.com. Books, videos, Master Phil's survival strong living supplements, as well as self-reliance and performance enhancement presentations. It is also brought to you by the Body Bell Method, workshops and certifications, the world's only kettlebell, bodyweight, and dynamic tension system that carries continuing education credits for trainers, instructors, coaches, doctors of physical therapy, and chiropractors. In person and virtual options are available. Please visit bodybellmethod.com. Greetings and welcome to another Master Phil in Your Corner podcast. And today we have a very special guest, William Mulvaney from the Willpower podcast. So we're going to kind of do a dual thing. For us at Master Phil in Your Corner, it's episode number 134. And I want to welcome Will. Will, welcome to the podcast. How you doing today?
I am doing good. Thank you, Phil, for having me. I'm glad we could do this whole Swift Watch kind of, dual podcast.
Yeah, it makes it easier for both of us, and we don't have to,
Yes, sir, it does.
to be a guest and a host kind of at the same
Hmm.
time. So do a little tag team action here, like the
Yeah.
old WWE or WWF, whatever it is now.
Yeah,
Also
so
WWE. Yeah.
let's start with you. Let's because you've got like a crazy story of training. You
Yeah.
mentioned this story of 2001 also, just like insane things have happened to you in your life. So
Yeah.
do you want to start with that one? Because you
Okay.
briefly told me about it, and that's an intriguing story. So
Yeah.
tell me what happened.
So about the 9/11 situation.
Hmm.
So yeah, 2011, 2001, 9/11, I was told by my boss that I could come in late to work because I'd won some big sales contest at ADP. And my office was on the 25th floor of Tower 2. And a month to the day before that, I had my kids up there. I took them, to my office, and then I took them to the top of the trade center and all that. And, it was a good time. And here it is, fast forward a month later. My boss said, "Oh, come in late. You won the sales contest, blah, 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 blah." And so I'm on the phone with my team on my way in. I'm across the river. And they're like, "Phil, can you see the towers?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm looking right at it." So what? I look up and I see smoke coming out of Tower 1. And they're like, "Oh, what happened?" I go, "Ah, looks like some idiot hit the tower." Because I wasn't looking up at the building when I was about to go in.
Hmm.
And now I'm looking at the buildings right in front of me. As I'm looking at it, I see that plane hit Tower 2. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, get the F out of there. you know, so, I mean, it's one thing one plane hits, two, there's something going
Hmm.
on. Okay, this is all my spidey senses went off. Um, and the things that, they wound up putting the city under martial lockdown, so you couldn't get anywhere. But I felt compelled to do something. I have training in first aid and so forth. So I wound up driving down to the Perth Amboy Bridge. I couldn't get in on the other bridges. Everything was locked down. So I parked my car and I see a cop. So she gives me a ride across the bridge, Perth Amboy Bridge. Now everything's shut down, just emergency vehicles. I jump on the train and I go to the Staten Island ferry to help get people off the ferries, from Lower Manhattan. And yeah, it was a lot of smoke, a lot of soot, a lot of stuff. You know, um, it's obviously dripping with sweat. My feet were blistered from running around. I mean, I had my dress shoes. I had my dress clothes on. I was going to work. I had loafers, jacket and tie, whatever, and I was on my way into the city, and this happened. And we but we lost one person from our company, um, and you know, definitely changed my perspective, especially when I was on my way in, seeing people jump off the building. It
Hmm.
looked like little ants jumping off, and that'll be with me the rest of my life. And on top of that, though, I never really, had like it didn't really affect me mentally as it much as it did other people. And they were for years and years and years, they were sending me letters, hey, collect your money, put in for this, that, the other thing. And look, I know people who lost loved ones. I was lucky as heck. I mean, I was ridiculously lucky that I wasn't in there then, that I was on my way in, but by the grace of God, I wasn't in there. And there's people who really needed, they couldn't even go into the city. They were so upset after that. These people are afraid to go to work, and then other people lost loved ones, other
Hmm.
people lost. I mean, so many bad things happen to so many other people. People got cancer. No one's going in there every day, for months and months and months. And I have personal friends that were part of the cleanup, and some of them suffer from PTSD because of, finding an arm here, a rib cage there, a foot there, digging in there for months in the rubble. I mean, I was fine. So I wrote them a letter, I think after year 10, because they wrote an article with me in it, survivors and different, stories about the lucky ones, which I was definitely one of them, more, luckier than others. And, I wrote a letter and I said, listen, don't take me off the list. Now, I still am on the list and I still get stuff, but I said, I don't want any money. Give it to people who need it. So
Mm.
that's part of my story there, so I know it's, not too many people can have that experience. Not too many people were as lucky as me, but there are a lot of people that it just wasn't their time. It was funny because I was going through a tough time in my life then too, because I just been separated 4 or 5 months before that, and going through a divorce and all that kind of stuff. And then, so I had a divorce. Then my job wound up going away, you know. So kind of had to, take a little reflection time and figure on,
Hmm.
hey, what am I going to do here? So, I looked at some of the other jobs and I was in the .com era. I worked for a company called Sun Microsystems, which is no longer around. And they decided to eliminate my division, my department. And I looked at it, I said, what are the potentials? I was used to making a pretty decent amount of money, but the market had dropped
Hmm.
precipitously. And so I said, I'm just going to go. I was spared for a reason. God spared me for a reason. So I went full time with my martial arts and fitness studio. And at the time, I had, I was just doing it part time to stay in shape, and I was still competing and so forth. So I had about 40 some odd students and two personal clients. And within 2 years, I built it up to over 155 students and 15 one on one clients. So pretty good. So then I said, you know what? I want to create a video training system because, I'd done a lot of training for people, self defense seminars. I was a trainer for police departments. I was part of the DCJ, defensive tactics. And look, there's a lot of really good martial artists out there. Okay, there's a lot of clowns too, but there's
Hmm.
some guys who are really, really good and they teach great stuff. But the thing is, you go and you do a 3 hour seminar, or even take a 6 month course or a 3 month course, and then you forget it because you don't practice it. So what I did was I took levels 1, 2, and 3 and a fitness one, and I put it in a video called Save, and Save actually became the #1 rated self defense fitness video series um, by independent, rating systems, Ange Purdue and a couple other ones. This was back. I'd have to look see which ones did it. This was back in like '06, '07, and Krav Maga was ranked #2. So
Mm.
and so it got it was very well received, and I know the U.S. Army ordered it too. They have it, and a couple other armed forces are using my stuff. So yeah, it was you know pretty interesting, and I decided then to write a book. So that's when I first came out with Survival Strong, which now I re-released it last year under a guide to street survival and strength. I tweaked it, made it a little more up to date from the 2016 version, and re-released it, so it's out there too. And then I've been doing martial arts and fitness as I have been doing since I was a kid. I mean, when I was 7 years old, I had a list of 20 exercises I did in the morning, and to this day, I still work out every morning. So I do, like, like this morning, I do my bow staff work, do my mobility, do my freehand mobility, and then I generally do calisthenics, um, and sometimes I do dynamic tension too. But my general one I do is 50 squats, 50 push-ups, 100 abs, 10 bridges, floor levers, RDLs, what we call them scales, like single leg, where I bend forward, put my arms out, my leg out like a warrior's pose,
Hmm.
neck exercises, and then I'm on with my day. So it usually takes about, 15, 20 minutes in the morning.
What keeps you, what has kept you training this whole time? Like, especially like, I guess once you start taking the teaching more seriously, I understand at that point, it's like, this is your career. You have to train.
Yes.
What about before that, when you're working for a big company? Like, what's
Uh,
keeping you motivated and then like, okay, I got to keep my physical body
yeah.
healthy?
That's a great question, and it all boils down to this thing called drivers. Motivation is one thing. Motivation is fleeting. It's good to
Hmm.
have, but you constantly have to be motivated, right? You have to have things that motivate you on a daily basis. But when you have your drivers, you can discover what your drivers are. That's where you get your motivation from.
Hmm.
And I had several of them. It's not always one, and sometimes the drivers change over time. But it first started with the fact that I saw so many of my contemporaries and like, in particular, like my dad, who was a great athlete, but he was overweight. He was 2 inches shorter than me, 100 pounds heavier, you
Hmm.
know, and, wound up subsequently passing at the age of 66 on his third heart attack. I didn't want that to be me. Um, Also being, I would also see a lot of these martial artists and even like some personal trainers who, I don't know, these guys don't look like they skip too many meals. And, you're advocating one thing, you're saying one thing, but you're doing something else. I didn't want to be a hypocrite. I want to not just talk the talk, I want to be able to walk the talk or walk the walk. So that was always very important to me, to be able to say it, do it, live it. And I never expect my people to do stuff that I didn't or couldn't do. I'd never expect that of them because it's just not fair, and to me, it's hypocritical.
Hmm.
So I want to lead by example. And listen, if you are your best advertisement, right? If you lead by a good example, people will follow you. Um, and that's very important to me to do that, to get that out there, to live a life where I'm challenging myself and trying to make myself better. And the other thing was I was still competing though. Um, I competed until I was 48 years old, in combat sports. You
Hmm.
know. And I did a 5K on my 55th birthday, and I won my age division, which was kind of cool.
Nice.
So, and I'm not really a runner, but it
Hmm.
was I did pretty decent. 7 something miles, seven. I forget the exact number,
Uh-huh.
but
That's pretty good.
it's not bad for a 190-pound dude. So yeah, it's you know you know, and there's another thing that, and this is a real cool driver. Check this out. If you look at, and I learned this actually during my kettlebell training because I wanted to be really good at it. And when I absorbed this, when I applied this to everything, it just made so much more sense. Is that every time you train, every time you work out, every time you do a job, anytime you do anything, look at it as an opportunity to get better at that particular task. So, constantly challenge yourself. And it's pretty cool because every time you work out, it's an opportunity to get better. Gosh, how could that not motivate you? How could that not
Hmm.
get you going? Like, wow, I can be better at this. And hey, if you're not that day, well, maybe the next day I'll do it. So yeah, so those are some of the things. I mean, I hope that people are able to take something away from that positive. It's going to work for them. And look, the thing is that everybody is different and every body is different, right? So what we have to do is find what works for us. Look, I mean, I like doing martial arts, kettlebells, hiking and running in the woods. That works for me. I like that. Some people like Zumba. Some people like yoga. Some people like bodybuilding. It doesn't matter. Do something that you're going to love and that you want to be good at. Now find what works for you. And just like not every diet's going to work for everyone either. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like when you're talking about the like being a living example of basically what you're preaching. That's a big thing in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community.
Mm-hmm.
I think I heard a podcast with Craig Jones and he was
Mm-hmm.
talking about he's kind of made a change to this with the CJI, but before
Mm-hmm.
that there's like very little money in competing, right? It's
Yeah.
like if you
Yeah.
win 80cc, you get 10 grand and no one else gets anything. And
Yeah.
so what he was saying is like I compete to sell instructionals.
Yes.
And so that's I mean, and I think that's a very like that makes sense. It's like if you're
Mm-hmm.
good at what you do, then your teaching should, people are going to be attracted to your products and come buy your stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes and no. You want me to tell you why I'm gonna say no?
Tell me.
Okay, because you could, and I noticed this when I had my school too. I mean, honestly, I was far and above the best competitor around.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm multiple times state champion. I think 8 times, national champ, all this kind of stuff, right? Division 1 wrestler, blah 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 blah, whole bunch of crap. You know what people care about?
Hmm.
They care about the whiffum. You know what the whiffum is?
I do not.
What's in it for me? Yeah, it's good to have the accolades and everything, and it adds credibility to what you're saying. But you have to hit on what turns that person on. You got to hit on their hot buttons, and you got to make it apparent, like what is in it for them. So when you're talking to someone, you want to sell your program. You don't really want to sell it. You want to get them to buy it.
Hmm.
Okay, so you want to listen to them and say and hear what they have to say. Hear what they're looking for. Hey, listen, you might come in to my studio and you want to be the baddest dude on the planet, right? I might have somebody else that comes in and says, I want to get in shape. I want to lower my cholesterol. I want to boost my self-esteem. Who's right? Who's wrong? No one. But you, as the instructor, as the business owner, you have to find that. You can't sell to someone. You can get them to buy. And until you get that, it's not always going to happen.
I have a friend who pitches, he helps startups pitch to venture capitalists.
Yeah.
And that's like the exact same thing he said. He's like, you gotta like you gotta convince them to buy without them knowing that you're trying to get them to buy or
Yeah.
give
Yeah.
them to get them to give you funding, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera.
Yeah. Well, if you look at it, most purchases are emotional. Just think about like what you bought. Um, okay, you got those guitars in the back, right? Those things aren't cheap, right? So
Yeah.
what made you buy them?
Well, these are my dad's guitars, but I
Okay.
could imagine
Yeah,
why
how
he
much
would
they
buy
cost.
them.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not cheap.
They're not cheap. They're not cheap. So what's the last thing that you bought?
Um, well, to go parallel to the guitars, I bought my electric piano.
Okay.
So that's not
Yeah.
cheap at all. It's a
No.
nice piece of equipment.
Yeah. Yeah. And you bought it? Why?
Um, I bought it because it's a skill I wanted to continue to hone and to work on and have
Mm-hmm.
a thing that allows me to practice that, and because I know making that investment is going to also translate to a emotional investment for me. This is
As I
something
say, it
I'm going
was
to work on.
right. It was an emotional purchase.
100%.
Look, you do jujitsu, right?
Hmm.
Do you really need to?
No, I don't need
Okay,
to.
exactly. You don't need to. But what? You want to, though, right?
Hmm.
Exactly. You have that desire, that need to challenge yourself. You want to better yourself in this, and this is what you chose to do. Some people do it with running marathons. Some people do it with hiking in the mountains or camping overnight and things like that, right? Some people do it with whitewater rafting, whatever it is. Right? Some people skydive, jump out of airplanes, right? Man, to me, why jump out of a perfectly good airplane? Some people just love to do it. Do they need to do it? Most, and if you look at it, most of the stuff that we do is really not stuff we need to do. It's stuff we want to do.
Hmm.
It's the emotional buy. So when you click that emotion on someone, when you get that buy-in on them, say, I want that. So I mean, I'm coming out with a product and a book. I wrote one for the dummies people, managing back pain for dummies. That's coming out in October, and then next month I'll have out my product that goes along with helping people with back pain. Now, do you think if you suffer from back pain, like I don't know, 80% of people in the world do some point in their life, right? Do you think that this would be something that you might want to look into?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So you have to find that what clicks. Look, listen, you remember that thing? I don't know if you remember it. You're a little young, but they had a thing called a pet rock. Did you ever hear about that?
Oh, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was like the dumbest thing ever. They would put a rock in a box. They paint it, put like glue eyes on it or something,
Uh-huh.
and they would sell it as a pet rock. And people went nuts buying this stuff. I mean, who needs a? I mean, you walk outside, you can grab a rock, call it your pet, call it George, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Okay, um, but people bought it on an emotional level. Oh my God, isn't this cute? But,
So, okay, I'm seeing parallels here between like your past life when you're working at this company and then
mhm,
bringing that like sales mindset into training. Are there or into like running a gym and all that?
mhm.
Are there any other learnings that you took from your past career into this one?
Sure. Be honest. Be honest. Okay? If you don't know something, say you don't know. Look, I
Mm,
train some pretty high level people, as you know, and they ask me a lot of questions on things. But there's things I don't know. And if you don't know, don't be afraid to say, hey, listen, man, I don't know. So I'm not going to BS somebody.
yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I don't know. Let me look into that. I've been asked about several things, like different methodologies that work or don't work. I can tell you something that doesn't work. Remember those cryo baths that were big?
Hmm.
I mean, does anybody use those anymore?
Not that I know of.
Exactly. They were popping up all over the place, and at the time I had 22 active MMA fighters. So the place said, "Oh yeah, here, try it for free." Blah 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 blah. They gave me like 10 pass, whatever it was. After like 5 or 6 times, I'm like, "This is a waste of my time. All I do is get cold. I walk out. I feel the same." So it was a joke. I've taken supplements that don't work.
Mhm.
Now I've taken ones that do work. And I know that there's certain ones I take. I actually wound up coming out with my own line of supplements because this is stuff I've tried and it works. I've tried different methodologies of training. I found things not to work. I know people are going to hate me for this, which is fine. Stand in line, but I just don't like CrossFit. I don't. Um, Initially, when it first came out, I was like, "Oh, do I go RKC kettlebell? Do I CrossFit?" So I looked at them, and on the surface, to me, the CrossFit looked good, conceptually, but in practice, there's such a variance. I was like, ugh. And then the guy who developed it, that Glacier guy, I mean, the guy can't even do a push up. And these people are following this guy around like he's some type of god. I mean, he's out of there now because something happened during Black Lives Matter or something. I don't know. But yeah, this guy, I mean, I could pick my teeth with his arms. They're so skinny. And he's got a little belly and everything. And the people are following this guy around like he's some type of god. I mean, he just came up with a great marketing plan. Talk about a great marketing strategy. Holy cow. I mean, they have a great marketing
Yeah,
strategy. They get
yeah.
people to buy in, and it's basically like a cult.
Yeah, and
you know?
they're lifelong members once they're in. It's
Yeah.
like that's their thing now.
But I'm also a functional movement specialist, so I've had people come to me, 45-year-old women who they're making them do the same workout as some 23-year-old guy next to her. She tore a meniscus, and they're telling her to put ice on and get back out there. I'm like, are you insane? But these people do it, and they wind up getting hurt. So like, I'm not big. And now, I must digress. There are some really good CrossFit coaches, though. There are some,
Hmm.
and there's some good boxes. But the thing is that that's like anything else. Same thing with martial artists, right? There are some great martial artists, some great schools. There's a lot of garbage ones too.
Hmm.
And again, it's also that cult mentality. That's why I'm so averse to it, because it was prevalent in the martial arts world, that cult mentality, and then I see it bleed into the CrossFit, um, and it just bothers me. It's like, dude, you're working out, you're picking up a weight. I'll tell you what, honestly, I can make someone stronger if I said, Will, see that rock? I want you to pick it up 10 times a day, right? So you go pick the rock up, right? Now you do that, you pick up that rock for an hour a day. Are you going to get stronger?
Hmm.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
Oh, here now you did. Now we're going to go to a bigger rock. Right. I mean, you're going to get stronger. You're going to get in shape. Okay? You can get in shape. You don't need all this crap to get into shape. I am like a pure minimalist. I mean, I need almost nothing.
Hmm.
Um, and but that doesn't make money. For the gyms, for the people
Yep. Yep.
who because you have to have a measure of skill, discipline, focus, and you have to really know what you're doing in order to do this on a regular basis and do it on your own. A lot of people can't do that, which is fine. If you need classes to do, good. I want you moving. I want you doing something. So,
Yeah, the honesty thing. I like a lot of people will get their ego wrapped up in what they say and what they do, but being able to admit when you're wrong is such a huge skill. And like
huge.
the quicker you can admit it, once you realize you're wrong, the quicker you could be like, okay, take a
Right.
step back. Never
Well,
mind what I said.
yeah. The thing
Huge.
is that that's a very difficult thing to do. And as I got older, I was able to do it easier.
Hmm.
Because when you're younger, sometimes you have your ego in the way.
Hmm.
But the thing is, what I found too is that when you look at a situation, most people, especially in the society that we're in right now, they look at one side of the coin. They don't look at the other side. And I ask people, I go, well, how many sides to a coin are there? How many?
Two.
Nope, there's three.
Ah, the edge.
The edge. That's where the intelligence resides, because you only can see the edge if you look at both sides, right?
Ah,
So you
okay.
flip it over, and now the intelligence resides on the edge, because I've seen both sides. And that's one thing I think that we have lacking in society today, is that people really don't look at both sides. Listen, I'll listen to anything at first, and then I will make my judgment.
Hmm.
You can't just jump to conclusions so quickly, and you want to, like Bruce Lee says, empty the cup. Okay, so let me ask you: is orange juice good? Right, like orange juice,
Yeah.
like pure, not the concentrate. I mean,
Right,
or
right, right.
and if you drink milk, is milk good?
Yeah.
Fine, right? Okay,
Milk's
good.
good.
Yeah. Now, what if you have a cup of orange juice and you pour milk into it?
Doesn't sound great.
Right, it's disgusting, right? So you
Yeah.
have to empty your cup. Whenever you're hearing something, you want to try to empty your cup and not approach it with prejudice
Mm,
from prior knowledge or suppositions. And again, that's something that, as a society, we're getting less and less away. We're getting away from really emptying the cup, looking at things at face value, and trying to make an independent assessment. I
yeah.
really,
So just a question to challenge you a little bit on that.
yeah, sure.
How do you then build? Because this is something that happens to me often, is
Mhm.
I'll be exposed to some new knowledge or wisdom or whatever you want to
Mhm.
call it.
Mhm.
And the things I know are still true.
Yes.
But then how do I take on this new thing and build onto, my existing knowledge?
Well, no, that's 100% valid. The thing is that you have to look at it and see how it applies. Does it
Mm,
apply to what you already know?
hmm.
Can it be added to it? Can it be used to enhance your current knowledge base? Is it completely contradictory? If it's contradictory, are the contradictions valid?
Right.
See, these are the things you want to ask yourself. That's why people are very, very reactionary, and even when they listen to others talk, like, I listened to you exactly what you said.
Hmm.
I absorbed it, and then I formulated my my response. Now, most people are thinking about what they're going to say and just waiting for you to end, just so they can say what they want to say. They don't absorb what is being said to them. And that's it's and it takes discipline to do that, especially when you happen to know something about a subject. a lot. Hey, maybe there's something you're missing. That's why I've looked at different training modalities. Um, and I happen to like, I think that what I do has great results, and I prefer to get really good at it. Like I like my kettlebells, my body weight, my dynamic tension.
Hmm.
I get my mobility, I get all five aspects of conditioning in there. But not to say that you couldn't get these, couldn't obtain these attributes with other methods. But just this is the method I choose. I find that it's the best bang for the buck.
Do you have any like distinct moments you can remember where you had to like let go of something that you thought you like had a strong belief in, fitness related or otherwise?
Heck yeah, weightlifting.
Mm,
When I first found kettlebells, I was like, I'm like, wait a minute, I need to lift, right? I mean,
hmm
I was lifting weights since I was 13 years old, from 13 to 45 when I started doing kettlebells. 40, whatever it was, about 20 years ago. How old am I now?
hmm
Yeah, 2005, started doing kettlebells. And I was still holding on to weightlifting for like good 2 years.
hmm
And then I'm like, I don't need this. And my mobility got better, my overall strength got better, my core strength. I worked the transverse plane, my explosive power got better, my muscular endurance got better. And then and then it brought me back to my calisthenics again, doing a lot of callies again, which I'd gotten away from when
with the lifting.
yeah,
Hmm.
because I was, into just lifting it. My body did not feel as good, and it did not feel as good, and I couldn't compete for a while. I mean, I wound up, like I told you, I competed when I was 48, and I did that after doing kettlebells for 5 years,
Yeah.
and I felt fantastic out on that mat, and I competed very successfully.
Hmm.
It's because of kettlebells. But whereas a few years prior to that, like my shoulder hurt, my knees hurt, my back hurt, everything was like hurting me still from all my prior injuries from my years of combat and contact sports.
Yeah.
So, the kettlebells. It's funny. It's funny as heck because I had a conversation with my buddies, my best friend forever, right? And because I have a whole series out on YouTube, like your bench is BS, your squat sucks, your row's ridiculous, your press doesn't impress me, and then what's the other one? Your row is ridiculous, right? So I have all these things out there, right? And he goes, when I came out with the first one, he goes, what do you have against the bench press? Now this guy was like a beast. I mean, powerlifting police champion, right? And now we're relatively the same age. So he goes, what do you have against bench press? I go, do you do it anymore? And he goes, no. Now this guy could bench press over 500 pounds back in the day. And he goes, no. I go, why not? He goes, because my shoulders hurt. I go, well, you just answered your question, didn't you? So do you at 50, 60, even 45 years old need to be doing bench press? And then you roll it back to, do you even need to be doing bench press at all?
Right.
My son was one of the top throwers in the country, shot put and disc. And he was only about 215 pounds. And the coaches I handle those recruiting, they call up, oh, what are his numbers? I'm like, what? Shot, disc? No, we see those. He can throw over 60 feet with a shot put. And they said, no, bench, deadlift, and squat. I'm like, I don't know. He doesn't do them. He doesn't do them. I'm like, what? I'm like, no, he doesn't do them. He goes, but I'll tell you what, he can take the beast. You know what the beast is? It's a
Mm.
105-pound kettlebell.
Okay.
And, but he can strict press it either side. And he can ask the heel pistol squat it either leg. Yeah. Yeah. That's explosive power, man.
Yeah, that's impressive.
That's why a 215 pounder, actually he was 211 during nationals, was beating guys 350 pounds.
Mm, dang.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
cool, man. I'm like rethinking everything. I'm gonna have to do some of my own research on,
yeah,
yeah, my own strength training and all that.
yeah. The thing is that it's a very, just think about this. Okay, you grab a bar, right, and you're
Hmm.
pressing it. Okay, that thing is fixed.
Yep.
You have a two kettlebells, even two dumbbells, and you're pressing. Are your shoulders allowed to move freely?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
They can move more.
When you grab someone, right? You grab someone and pull them in jujitsu. Are you twisting and pulling, or are you
Hmm. Yep.
static? Right,
You're
right.
moving a lot.
You're moving a lot, right? So, if you want to, if you want to create strength in a stable environment in your shoulder, let's say, you have to pack that shoulder and engage the lats. And if you're not doing that in your bench press or your overhead press, are you helping yourself or hurting yourself? Look, if you have a bar in your chest and you're going to press it, right? You either have to lean back or put the bar out to get past your chin, correct?
Hmm.
If I have two kettlebells here, do I have to do that?
Hmm.
No. If I'm doing a handstand, are my arms on an angle or are they straight?
Great.
Straight, right? That is the best position of strength. Why? Because your structure is providing the strength, not just your muscle.
Hmm.
And you're developing your muscle in a safe environment.
Yeah, I talked to someone about he had this argument against like deadlifting and just like overall super heavy lifting like that because
Mm-hmm.
he was like, you don't like it's not natural to need to lift like 500 pounds in this like kind of fake environment. It's not like a real like in real life when you carry heavy things, they're like oddly shaped and you gotta like figure out how to hold it. And
Yeah,
a deadlift is just like perfectly set up for you. And he's like, this is not natural.
right. Well, see, this is why I prefer kettlebells because kettlebells have a
Hmm.
changing center of gravity, right?
Yeah.
And a dumbbell and a barbell have a unilateral distribution of weight, where a kettlebell, every time you move it because of its offset gravity, right? The center is offset. It
Hmm.
changes, and you have to recruit all those stabilizers,
Yep.
and you're operating through that transverse plane. So that's one of the reasons that I like them so much, and the results I've had have been really good. So, and I mean, I've trained thousands of
Awesome.
people at this point, thousands, not just hundreds, like thousands,
Yeah, yeah.
between my seminars, workshops, presentations. So and I've gotten some real good buy-in. So
You've gotten the word out. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But
So
still,
let's touch on dating quick
yeah,
before
sure, yeah,
yeah, before we have to wrap up.
yeah.
So yeah, I would love to hear your experience. Have you so you did mention getting divorced around
Mhm,
2001.
mhm.
Did you like go back into the world of dating after that?
Yeah,
Or okay.
yeah,
And so
yeah.
you've had experience over different eras
Decades.
of like yeah.
Yeah, periods of time. Yeah, because I got married first time in 1990, and
Hmm.
then I got divorced 2001, let's say 2002, something like that. So then I was out in the field again. I
Hmm.
wound up, I got married again in 2009, still married, happily married. So we're all good. But I
Good,
was in the
good.
dating pool in the 2000s. I was there doing the match.com. But there was still the way to, we'd go out and meet people.
Hmm.
So we would go to bars, go to events. I did the online thing. You know, honestly, I found the online thing ridiculously easy.
Mm.
you know, um, yeah, but you met a lot of wackos though.
Hmm.
I didn't, you know, I wound up meeting my current wife from a video shoot on kettlebells.
Oh, okay.
She was filming the beginner one. I was filming the advanced one for a company called Bayview Entertainment, which is they also purchased Collage Videos. They're the largest video producer for fitness, and
Hmm.
yeah, so I wound up meeting her there at the shoot, and then 2 years later we got married. So that was like '07. Met her,
Hmm.
um, but yeah, it was. You know, I see now it's far different. Like, do people go out to clubs much anymore? They go to bars.
Um, somewhat, definitely not as much.
Yeah,
That for me, that was never my favorite place to meet people because
yeah,
I am a more of an early morning kind of person. I don't drink. I don't like, so if I met a woman at a bar, there's already like kind of a mismatch in terms of priorities and in terms
right.
of just what we're looking for and the way that we spend our time.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, some people do. I think the biggest thing that people are not doing is
Mhm.
talking in just in public, in normal places. So like 99% of guys, if they saw a woman they were attracted to, they're not going to talk to her. Right.
Wow. See, yeah, see, that's here. Let me tell you something. That's where I got to jump in here.
Hmm.
Um, Many times when I meet someone and women like confidence,
Hmm.
you have to have confidence. And look, you might get shot down. Who cares? Whatever. I've been shot down before. I've been told no. I'll be told no again. You
Yeah.
know, the things that I don't think that a lot of these guys have game, and because and part of it is society's fault too for beating them down so much. Oh, they walk up to because guys think they walk up to a girl and start talking to her, they're going to get accused of sexual harassment.
Right, right, right.
Which I can't blame you. But the thing is that hey, approach it with humor. You know,
Hmm.
just say something funny or whatever. And if she doesn't have a sense of humor, say, all right, take care. You know, you're not going to convince her because you don't want to be
Yeah.
with her anyway if she has a sense of humor. If
Hmm.
she can't laugh, she can't smile. Because listen, at the end of the day, the outside appearance, that goes away at some point in time. You
Yep.
know, money is money. Who cares? But the thing is, if they got a good sense of humor, a good attitude, that goes a long, long way.
Hmm.
So, and you can find that out pretty quickly, from with most people. And again, also, the other thing is too is that if you want to have a good success rate, you have to there has to be some type of mutual attraction there. So you have to have like a signal, and you have to pay attention to these signals. So when
Hmm.
you meet somebody, if you're talking to a girl, she reached out and put her hand on your arm or something. Hey, she might be receptive.
Hmm.
Okay. But I'll tell you, I understand how guys are afraid, but you got to get over that. And
Hmm.
we got to start breaking that. And you know what? If a girl is there, she just walk away. All right, take care. Boom, done.
Yep.
And she's gonna wallow in her own, misery. You know.
Yeah.
Um, but that's not your problem. You're not gonna fix it. You're not gonna change it. So,
Yeah,
so
that's
yeah.
one of the I mean, for me when I started just like cold approaching women, that was like the biggest because the fact that no one's doing it means that if you do it, you now have like a superpower
Boom.
because there were numerous beautiful women that the girl I've been seeing now for over a year,
Mhm.
like she was like, no one's ever done that to me.
Yeah.
And here's this like beautiful woman, like I couldn't believe that. I'm like, no one's ever just come up to you and asked you on a date. And she's like, yeah, no one
Yeah.
ever. So if you're doing it, like it puts you
Yeah.
ahead.
So here's one line that works great. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You walk up to a girl, like, if you like the way she looks, and this, I did, I'm not the prettiest guy in the world, but, I got my attributes,
Uh-huh.
but this will work good. You walk up to a girl and say, hey, what is it that a guy could say to you to get you to go out with him? So
There you
now,
go.
you approached, you show you have confidence, but you put the ball in her court.
Hmm.
See what I'm talking about? So now you're playing this game pretty good. And then, hey, you judge by her response. You know,
Yeah.
Another fun thing I used to do too is walk up to a girl and go, "My heart beats for you." No.
Get the pecs going.
Yeah, get the pet going. No, she laughed. If she's like, "Oh," I'm like, "All right, well, I
Yeah.
guess it doesn't." Walk away.
Yeah,
So,
there is I mean both of those. It's like you're showing some playfulness, some humor. It's like this
exactly.
isn't some crazy serious thing. And also it's like I don't know, there's something about making it humorous that allows her to relax and be like,
Yes.
okay, this guy isn't like creepy. He's not
Creepy,
there's
right?
nothing bad that's gonna happen to me.
Yes. You don't want to come off creepy or lecherous or anything. So
Hmm.
you want to come off as playful and fun.
Hmm.
Because look, that goes a long way. Look, one of the major things, my wife loves my sense of humor. It's like I make her laugh like every day.
Hmm.
you know, so I say something funny, something goofy, something, make something up, take on something, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and we just enjoy that time, and it's it. I'll tell you, it makes for a much better life too,
Yeah.
just overall.
for
You know,
sure.
having that. So if you show a girl that sense of humor and confidence, boom, you're head and shoulders above the other guys. Remember, you don't have to be that good. You just got to be better than the other guy. Right? So just got to be able to beat that competition. Right?
Yeah, that's totally it. Yeah, and I mean it is I think the biggest because again, to go back to this like idea of being creepy or being a creep, like
Yeah.
that definitely would play in my head too. I'd be like, I'd like, how do I not be creepy? And
Right.
the biggest thing I could find is like just be super certain that you're not creepy. Like
Yeah.
just know that deep down, I'm not creepy. I'm not gonna sexually assault someone. There's
Right.
nothing bad that's gonna happen because of
No.
me. And just like completely know that.
Yep.
And then if someone if a girl does think that about me,
Mhm.
okay. I know it's not true. There's
Yep.
nothing I can do about, I can't
Well, that,
change what she thinks.
yeah, that's a her problem, not a you problem.
Yep.
And who are you? Think about it. Who are you really to care what she thinks of you? You
Right.
know, it's like, man, that she, people come with baggage, and the older you get, the more baggage there is, and some people have not been able to unpack it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's again not a you problem, that's a them problem, and as you get older, more experience, you tend to recognize that, or at least you hope you tend to recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, some people never recognize it and keep making mistake after mistake. That's why I've
Yep.
been married like 27 times. But just try to just know when to walk away,
Yeah.
you know, and have that confidence in yourself, to be able to walk away or to walk up to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think we need to change that, and people need to have that more face to face interaction.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if you do that, if you come off doing that from the beginning, you know, it'll go a long way.
Very much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's yeah. You immediately just get to because like that's as humans, that's what we really like. Of course, looks matter and
Oh yeah,
seeing someone's, I guess their dating bio like kind of helps, but like really it's all about the what
the
happens when you're
connection.
face to face. Is there
Yep.
is there a genuine connection there? Yeah.
Yes. And when that happens, foster it. You know,
Hmm.
and don't be afraid to walk away from something, and just don't hold on to it for the wrong reasons. Like a lot of people I know, they will go out with someone and keep going out with that person, even though they don't want to be with them because they want to get somebody else. To me, that's wrong. I
Yeah.
say, do a clean break, assess why was I with that person? Why
Hmm.
did I allow myself to be with a person that's not good for me? Break it off, and then move on to something else. So,
Awesome. So as we wrap up,
yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What does your dream life look like, and are you currently living it?
Boom. I'm living it, baby. I'm living it. My dream life is what I made. I love doing what I'm doing. I don't feel like I work. People say to me, "Oh, you work all the time. You work constantly." I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't. I'm having fun. How am I not having fun doing this? I'm about to go work out with top kid in the country, right? How could I not love doing that? I worked with a team mindset training with a team this morning. I had one of my MMA fighters on this morning. I mean, how can I not love doing that? I mean, I'm going all over the place. I'm creating products, writing books, blah blah blah, having fun. Yes, I am living my dream life, and I only wish that everyone else could do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like you're really spreading that message. So, and you're helping people with the training and just speaking out your story. So it's huge.
And I hope that you continue doing what you're doing, because I know it takes a lot of guts to do what you've done and what you're planning on doing. But there will be dark times,
Hmm.
but just muscle through them.
I appreciate that, man.
All right, brother. Great
Awesome.
work.
Let's wrap it up.
All
Yeah.
right. All right.
Do you
Well,
want to go ahead and I guess just for our separate podcasts, you can like
yes.
shout out your stuff and then I'll
Yep.
shout out mine and yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's Master Phil in your corner. And as we always end, strength and honor.
let's go.
All right, buddy.
Awesome.
Peace.
See ya.